Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let's get it started. Breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. Uncle Joe is just coming hot and heavy with the rumors. You have two rumors. The same guy is leaving the Patriots on both of them. Uncle Joe, let Timmy and I know what you got.
Oh, I don't have anything in particular, but
yes, you do.
The rumors all day online everywhere is Gilmore being shopped. Now, given our uncertain quarterback situation, I'll put it that way. Why not a fellow that was benched a week ago that knows our system, very handsome fella, you see him in a lot of commercials, Jimmy G. You'll be seeing him this week. Jimmy G coming back this way.
Oh, just leave him here. Just leave him here. They can save money on the flight.
Oh, that's right. Just like a baseball trade.
Yeah,
just
they do
that.
I'll take 3 on the over/under till he's injured for the season.
Timmy, would you do that deal?
I would not, because he's too injury prone, and he just can't stay on the field.
There's no scenario, Tim, that you would want Jimmy G as the starting quarterback for the Patriots.
Not over Cam Newton. I wouldn't.
Joe,
even the Cam Newton you saw last week.
Oh,
lazy, stupid Cam Newton
coming off COVID, or the quarterback we just saw benched in San Francisco.
Cam would have been benched if there was anything more than Brian Hoyer behind him.
He's coming off.
He was as bad as Hoyer.
The whole world is shut down because of COVID. It's that serious. This guy just got over COVID. He had
He said he never had a symptom.
Well, he had about an hour's worth of practice, and I'm not ready to give up on Cam Newton quite yet for a guy who is proven that Scotty. I know he's good looking. That he can't stay on the field.
What are you talking about, Timmy?
He can't stay on the field either.
He was fine. He took the team to the Super Bowl and was one pass away from being the MVP.
And Cam's only played about a handful of games in 3 years.
The game manager, the San Francisco defense is what got them to the Super Bowl. Come on, Scott. He wasn't Jimmy.
No, but he was. Look, his percentage of completions was off the charts. He was a very good quarterback last year.
I bet you he started more games the last 3 years than Cam Newton.
No question.
Cam's had 3 years to get healthy. I'll take a 6'5", 265-pound guy right now.
You can't coach size. You're right.
Who also took somebody to the Super Bowl not that long ago, over a guy who game managed a spectacular defensive team to the Super Bowl, and it has a history of being very, very fragile. I'm not a big Jimmy G guy.
I know you're not. And wow, I can't wait till Adrian sees you on Tuesday.
In honor of that,
she's going to eviscerate him.
I know. All right, boys. Well, look, we're in trouble. We're 2-3. We are third place, if you can believe it, in the AFC East. Look, the fact is they have this game against the 49ers on Sunday. It is a must-win situation where you have a lot of teams in front of them in the AFC.
What's the point spread this week? Does anyone know?
And it's the lowest that it's been in Gillette Stadium. It's 2 points right now. The Patriots are favored by 2.
Is Jimmy G even starting for the 49ers this week?
Of course Jimmy G's starting, and he's going to play at least 10 minutes. Look.
Until the trade goes down and they switch dugouts.
At halftime. Yeah. I mean, look, this is a very interesting game. You guys have to admit the great subplots of Jimmy G coming back. And yes, there is still a question about Cam Newton and his future here. And we have to see how Cam Newton performs. He's definitely on a trial basis here.
Oh, and Tim, the other one, you'll really hate the other rumor with they're talking with Chicago, and they figure, well, draft picks is the obvious compensation for Gilmore, but maybe Mitch Trubisky thrown in.
Mitch Trubisky, is he an upgrade over Cam Newton?
No, I don't think so myself.
I don't think
so. Who knows what Bill Belichick thinks?
What Cam Newton are we getting, and what Patriots team are we getting? Are we getting the Patriots team that took KC to the brink there, with two horrible quarterbacks back there? Are we getting the Patriots that, gave Seattle everything they could handle? And are we getting last Patriots that practiced for 2 days and got beat up by a subpar team?
Look, a guy like Trubisky, Joe, could be very similar to a Tannehill. Tannehill's going to create a huge market for those guys who've been in the league, have some talent, were highly drafted, and to see if you can send them to a different team and you'll see a different player. Trubisky
or a defensive example is like a Kyle Van Noy, highly drafted, buried in Detroit, comes here in the different system, and he's a star. But Tim, I just think this is a terrible Patriots roster, actually. They have no depth, with all those opt-outs and the usual injuries that are going to occur during it. They're just not going to have enough depth, I don't think, this team.
You know what strikes
I love this team, but I just don't have a lot of confidence in it.
What jumps out just the lack of receiving core. I mean, there's nothing, this is a passing league right now, and we just have no weapons offensively other than our running backs, and we have a banged up offensive line, so that gives us zero offense.
Yeah,
look, Shaq Mason came back today, and David Andrews came back today. So
definitely sure off the line, and the line has been, except for last game, has been the biggest asset on the team. But look, it's a development year, whether we want to know like it or not. Guys like Winovich, guys like Jennings, guys like Damian Harris. These guys are the future. Bill Belichick, Timmy, he didn't plan on being competitive, or he would have gotten a better wide receiver than Demare Byrd off a practice squad.
I agree. I mean, how does Newton feel going back? I mean, the only reason I would see Newton leaving, he's got nobody to throw to. I mean, that might be as good a reason as any to leave. I mean, his legacy and his stats will go down with this horrible receiving core that he has.
And Joe, that was Tommy Boy's biggest
right
complaint, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Tommy wanted everything. They gave him everything he asked for. He wanted Josh Gordon. They gave it to him. The guy was no good. He wanted Antonio Brown. They went out and got it for him. It cost him a fortune. Then he wanted Mohamed Sanu. They got him everything he asked.
No, they did in recent time. Yes, that's true. In the last 2 years, that's a great point. But in the past, other than getting Randy Moss, they gave him nothing.
They've got him everything.
Well, that was, I think, someone he asked for too.
Well, other than Edelman, they really haven't brought in any homegrown talent at all, receiver wise. I mean, they
terrible drafting that.
Had Gronk for a while, but other than that,
And really, N'Keal Harry is Hartley Dykes number two, right? He really is. I mean, I know that's a big callback for a lot of years back, but he's exactly it. Remember, he was going to be this big wide receiver, and he was a stiff from day one. And I think I'm pretty done with N'Keal Harry. That last play of the final play of last game was.
Should I take over the scouting position for receivers for the Patriots? I mean, could I do worse?
You could not do worse.
Couldn't do. Whoever the guys that scout the wide receivers just do an abysmal job. I think maybe you should give them a few pointers from your seat high atop the Milton High field there.
Well, I'll tell you,
Coach Dembowski has a throwing game, that's for sure. Maybe we should take Coach Dembowski from Milton High and put him out there.
Yeah,
Milton High receivers over the last 5 years have been better than the Patriots receivers.
Or maybe replace Timmy. Maybe Timmy can replace Ernie Adams with those terrible decisions.
I think he fell asleep there on that spotting call. Maybe challenging the spot on that first down there.
80-year-old guys do take naps, in the middle of the game.
Not during the game, usually.
Ernie Adams, zone. All right, Uncle Joe. I don't know if this is sacrilegious, but is Damian Harris a poor man's Nick Chubb?
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. Let's just hope that he has a continued upside. The more reps he gets, like you were saying earlier, this is a good year for guys like Uche and Anthony Jennings and Damian Harris and them to get a lot of reps. They're not, and to really progress as football players, take advantage of these opportunities. Usually you're stuck behind a veteran for a couple of years. And all these guys, maybe it'll pay, dividends in the future.
Yeah, Timmy, the drafts all of a sudden, these guys are starting to play the last few years of the draft and it doesn't look so bad.
I mean, Belichick's the best coach in the league. I mean, he's proved it already this year, but this might be his greatest coaching year ever with what he's had to work with and being competitive. But, even though he's got 6 Super Bowls under his wing, so it's hard to call him like the worst GM in the league. But when's the last time he drafted an all-pro?
Well, he doesn't draft. It's the scouts that draft.
Well, he's got the final. He's the captain of the ship. Man.
Well,
Deals
I got to give he had drafted Tooney and Mason.
He's the general manager, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the
captain.
And then there's someone, the head of pro scouting, head of college scouting, used to be Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio is probably more in charge of the draft than Belichick.
Captain of the ship, and you pick a guy as your navigator who doesn't know how to navigate, and he crashes the ship, then you get the blame. You're the captain. You pick the lousy.
Oh yeah, he's got to take the blame for it. But you can't be a lousy GM and have the success he's had for 20 years straight, and not only 9 Super Bowls he went to, he did it on the cheap. He did it cheaper than any other team in the league.
I'll just say it all comes back to his choice of wide receivers. He just has an Achilles heel when it comes to picking.
Oh yeah,
receivers who are going to make it in this league.
Joe,
but a lot of those guys are doing well on other teams. Jeez, I think Brandon Cooks had 8 catches and 168 yards last week.
Yeah, and even I said, I don't know how Philip Dorsett's doing, but
he's been injured out in Seattle.
But he looked pretty good on the team. Yeah, if he wasn't injured. Why didn't Scott Pioli? I'm surprised that Pioli didn't come back into the fold. I always liked him.
I think when he left, there was a little bad blood. Remember, he was married to the Giants.
No, he's married to Parcells, right?
Yeah, Parcells.
Yeah.
Married Parcells' daughter?
I think so, yeah. He married Parcells' daughter, yeah. I don't know. I like Pioli. It would be nice. I thought he did a really good job.
He's on the radio still on the NFL channel.
Yeah, he does the NFL.
Oh, the Patriots. I would take whoever picks the receivers for the Steelers and add $1 million to his paycheck and say, come on over.
I agree, Tim. Whoever's coaching receivers there.
They freaking find them in the 50th round over there, and they turn them into all pros.
The new kid, though, was a second rounder out of Notre Dame. So it wasn't like he was some unknown,
Look, we were brought up in the 70s with great wide receivers, the Stanley Morgans, the Darryl Stingleys of the world.
All world Russ Francis.
World Russ Francis. So we were spoiled early on in the 70s, but they had some great talented guys. But
go to the Patriots. There was a whole section that would just scream, "Take off your helmet, Russ! Take off your helmet!" The whole game.
Yeah, a guy who's better looking than Jimmy G. There you go, Russ Francis. Yeah. All right, boys. We got to make predictions.
Wait, you did say that, Scotty. Did that just come out of your mouth? Someone's better looking than Jimmy.
I did say it. Absolutely. I want to
we have it on tape, Jim.
I'm playing this right down the line. I don't play favorites here. Game Sunday, must-win situation. Now, obviously, we haven't seen 2 and 4 in 20 years in this town. They can't go 2 and 4. They cannot lose to a injury-riddled San Francisco 49ers team. All right, Timmy, give me a prediction.
Well, you guys are saying the offensive line is back, right, Joe? I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah, Andrews and Shaq Mason both came back today.
So I see a ground and pound, ball control, long possessions for the Patriots, 28-14.
All right.
Patriots win.
Joseph?
I kind of like Tim's line of thinking there, and I'll go with like 27 just to make it different. But I'll give the Niners 25. I have more faith in Jimmy G than Tim does.
All right, boys, I got some sad news coming out at Gillette Stadium on Sunday. They're going to get blown out.
Oh, no. Of course he's going to pick Jimmy.
Of course he is. Jimmy G
31-10. They're going to get blown out.
What is it?
Yeah. You're gonna hear seats that are empty boo. I don't know how it's going to happen.
picking Jimmy G in DraftKings this week, Scotty?
Yeah.
He's not putting his money on that, I'm
No, I
sure.
don't put my money on Jimmy G. I just talk about
Touchdown, 800 yards, and a perfect quarterback rating, and
perfect hair.
Yeah.
No nose hairs. Nothing. It's gonna be unbelievable to see. All right. Go to the Celtics. Celtics are tied for 6th at plus 1,200 on the odds to win the title. They're tied actually with the Brooklyn Nets. Are you surprised that they're so far back on the betting line?
No, they really have a flawed team that can't get to the next step. I don't think all the coaching in the world and that the team as it presently constituted cannot make the next step to that final.
well, let's talk about who's in front of them. Probably we probably have the Lakers
Bucks are ahead of them. I mean, we're talking about the Eastern Conference.
Is Philly ahead of them, Scotty?
No, I don't
Doc?
know. No.
I'm wondering.
Maybe with Doc and Simmons.
The Clippers are probably in front of them, right? Is
No,
Toronto?
well, I just worry about the Eastern Conference, Timmy. You
Okay,
can't
but
really
you're
do that.
talking to win the championship, though.
I know,
right?
but to get to the finals and then that, to be honest, and then you never know.
Well, I'm trying to see if it's right because I'm trying to wonder who's in front of them. Is it realistic who's in front of them?
But they're only going to play
Yeah,
one
you
team.
have to wait and see what kind of moves. Like those 3 draft picks aren't going to get them into the final, the championships. No, nothing to do with champions. They can draft 3 great guys. It's not getting them
But
there.
that's not
Well,
true.
They
Joe.
got to trade. They have to trade.
That's not true, Joe,
Well,
because
well,
Tyler
he-
Hero on that team goes to the finals.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Scotty. They brought in a shooter, a kid who could just shoot the lights out. And if the Celtics had Hero this year, maybe they played in the finals instead of and where did Hero go in the draft? Like 14th or something like that?
14th, yeah. And then no, he went
Oh.
13th, and then we picked 14th. We picked that Stiff Langford.
Yeah, so if we
Romeo.
get,
But even a Duncan Robinson, who wasn't even drafted, if you had Duncan Robinson on that team, Joe, they would have gone to the finals.
we get some kid whose college game translates into the pro game pretty good. I mean, you never know.
My boy Buddy Hield. We get Buddy Hield, and there you go. We're going to the NBA Finals.
We need someone to replace. I would like a good all-around backup point guard that can shoot. I know I'm asking for a lot, but someone to spell Kemba. Someone's got to have to give you 15 to 20 minutes a
No
game.
question. Yeah, we talked about that last night, Timmy. Like I said last night, I really do believe, despite the money, you can't worry about the max contract, that Kemba Walker is a 6th man on a great team.
Yeah, he's a little Edelman in him, right? He's like he's wearing down. I mean, I just wish
They got him at the wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kemba a lot. I like what he brought to the locker room. Especially after Kyrie came, he's like the anti-Kyrie Irving, personality-wise. I don't know if it was the defenses that they threw at him, but he disappeared in the playoffs. And I was expecting it to be the 3-headed monster: Brown, Tatum, and Kemba, and it wasn't.
Yeah. Moving forward, Joe, what type of player is Kemba Walker? I mean, is he a guy who's going to play 35 minutes for you and score 20 points?
No. And I think the best of Kemba Walker is behind him. We're paying for past performance for the most part.
Right.
But still, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong there. I'm not saying he's not.
And we don't go
But
to
he's
the
going to be a
Conference
limited.
Finals without him. We do not make that clear. We didn't think this team could even get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Adding Kemba brought us there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like 12 months ago, we had this team dead and buried. Kyrie was gone.
Al Horford.
Also, the 2 lads, Brown and Tatum, were coming off of subpar years after their, first and second years. They weren't ascending like we had thought that they would ascend, and then until Kyrie showed up and stunted their growth for a year. So I expect Tatum to get better and ascend to the next level. And I expect Brown to get better. These guys are hitting their prime years right now.
Yeah, I think Brown's going to take charge a little bit more. I don't think he liked the way the offense ran in the playoffs.
Well, that was what him and Smart had the big fight about there after game, was it 3 or 4?
Yeah. But there's been a lot of talk in the last week or so and of course it's coming from a Celtics nation, which surprises me that maybe Marcus Smart is not a good fit for this team for how they want to move forward.
I don't know.
You guys agree with that?
Who said that?
There's a lot of
I don't know. I like the grit and balls that he brings to the team.
I want him on my team all day. I think he's a huge part of why they made the Eastern Conference. I think without him, they don't make it.
I understand the argument. The argument is when Marcus Smart scores 20 plus or more points, the Celtics tend to lose. And that Marcus Smart, you want him out there, but unless you're able to rein him in, unless he's not going to go and think that he's the leading scorer on that team and take lots of shots in the fourth quarter, if Brad can't rein that in, he may be his value is probably at its highest right now.
I think Smart shoots when everyone else is afraid to shoot. I think he's got the cojones to take the shots when nobody else will take
them.
Well,
that was the complaint.
When I see Smart shooting, it's usually with like 1 second left on the shot clock.
Yeah, but it was because that was what the fight was about. Brown was shouting, "Give me the ball, let me shoot," and he wasn't passing.
Yeah, I don't like Marcus at the point, to be honest with you. I don't like it when Marcus is running the point. And there were
it's too much like Terry Rozier holds the ball too long.
Well, when Marcus Smart's scoring 23, that's like when your safety is making the most tackles.
Exactly, Tim. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's going to be a matter of, can Brad rein this in? Can Danny and Brad get to Marcus, and can he come to the program? If not, you might see a deal. Look, guys, if you get rid of Marcus Smart, you're going to get a quality player in return. And maybe a guy.
He gets like 15 million, right?
Yeah, and
let me tell you, they would be lined up around the corner, other teams, to pick up a Marcus Smart. Some team that has a lot of talent that's lacking leadership, I'd be lined up to pick him up.
Look, I agree, Tim. I agree. A lot of teams would really
brings a lot to the table as far as I'm concerned.
You're talking Miles Turner. Would you do it?
Nah, I don't see any fire in his game.
Oladipo and Miles Turner for Smart and like an Enes Kanter to match up the salaries.
Geez, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, are you kidding? Yeah,
that would really help that team.
I don't know. I like Marcus Smart.
We all do. He's a fan favorite, Tim.
He's a fan. Oladipo is so much better. The Oladipo, you couldn't argue when he was healthy, was a top 10 player.
I like rooting for good guys. I like rooting for the Marcus Smart. I'd rather root for a Marcus Smart than a Kyrie Irving all day. I don't care.
I know, but but come on.
Come on. No, that's
we need to win games. And we need to get to the level where we're winning championships. And, LeBron and, Davis are a tough, nut to crack with the Lakers. You're going to need really big superstar players. And a guy like Oladipo is that type of level. Wouldn't you agree, Joe?
Yeah, and throw Miles Turner in another need solved. But I have to say, when I listen to the NBA channel, guys from all around the league all want a guy. They all say, we'd like a Marcus Smart for a teammate. We want a Marcus Smart type. He's like a stereotype now. People around the league call that kind of player, that 6 man, a Marcus Smart type player.
Do I want Marcus Smart in my starting 5? Maybe not. You know? I think another thing we're missing too, this Grandpa Hayward gets a season under his belt and really gets integrated into the flow of that team. Could he elevate his game to the person that we always thought he was going to be?
No, he's done. He's on the back end of a average career.
And his contract is kind of funny. He's going to opt in, obviously, because no one else is going to pay him $34 million.
So is the contract year for him then?
No. He opts in.
Okay, but then
he could opt out if he wanted to.
Okay, but
this year he's a free agent.
Is he a free agent after that?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
So he's got something to play for. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. All right,
they could always try to extend him and bring next year's number down at a more reasonable level.
I don't hear you. I can't hear you. You're not talking. Come on, Joe. Really? What's in that drink?
Drop him down to Marcus Smart's level, and over the next 2 years, 15 each, they'd still have less money.
What's in that drink? That's spiked. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Grandpa
No.
Hayward for
That's a
5
white
years,
Russian.
at $34 million a year for 5 years. He
Oh,
extended.
for God's sake. I wouldn't give him shit. All right, go to the Red Sox. World Series, Tampa versus the Dodgers. And, of course, Mookie Betts has to be the star of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Look.
Rub our nose in it.
Look,
All right. I heard something funny today. Someone said Tom Brady is a witch. Did you hear that anywhere?
I heard that. That's awesome.
That
you know,
is,
everywhere he's gone. Everywhere he's gone, they've become winners.
that was when he was in California, when he was living in California,
San Fran.
his area won every championship. Then he went to Michigan, and all the Detroit and Michigan teams won championships. Then he comes to Boston, and Boston goes through the greatest championship. Now he goes to Tampa, and
they're in the World Series.
The hockey team wins, freaking Stanley Cup, and the baseball team's in the World Series, for the first time. I mean, Joe, that
was an excellent. You couldn't. The
that.
logic was there.
Where was that? Who posted that?
Radio stations today. One of the callers called in, and he went down the list, and it was shocking, Scotty. Everywhere Brady goes, championships follow for that area, wherever he's living.
When he was a boy, it was Montana and the 49ers and the Oakland Athletics winning championship after championship out there. Then he goes to Michigan, and the Pistons and the Tigers and Michigan itself wins.
And the Red Wings.
The Red Wings won 3 cups when he was there.
And then he comes to Boston. I think we've
to Boston.
And now Tampa Bay. Take a look what's happening there.
I know. Oh my.
He's a warlock. So they were saying he's a witch or a warlock. He brings the spell wherever he goes.
All right. On the show last night, Timmy Boy and I said I asked the question: Andrew Benintendi and JD Martinez. Do you think either of them will be on the team, Joe?
I don't know. I'd like to see one of the other show a little bit of interest in playing the game sometime soon, but. Go ahead, Tim.
I think the Red Sox, we have a tradition of world-class left fielders. Let's get another one in here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. I agree with you. Benintendi's he's trash. He's
listless.
He's figured out, and he's looked at his bank account and figured out how much he can spend a year till he croaks at like 80. And
in Arkansas, he's he's rich for life.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You can buy a nice house there.
You never have to work
house
again.
for $100,000.
Yeah,
I remember I was in a rather poor part of Michigan one time, and I said, "Oh, that's a nice house over there. What does that go for?" The guys, "Oh, that one's expensive. That one's about $55,000." It was like a 5,000 square foot house on 10 acres.
I know, right? Yeah. That's a nice mountain over there. Oh yeah, Andrew Benintendi, you own it.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Does John Henry care anymore? We haven't even seen this guy's face since February. Does he even give a crap?
Have we ever seen him really?
Yeah. I mean, he's interested in his Liverpool team and riding around in his yachts. I mean, can you see him selling soon?
I still can't see him selling. Every year you bring up this.
Every year.
He's going to sell.
Still
lives here in Brookline.
Just announced that huge real estate development deal all around Fenway, so he's cashing in on that right now.
Yeah, but he won't cash in much, Timmy, if there's no team to be there.
And he cashed in a lot on the Globe, all that real estate down there in Morrissey Boulevard. Before now when the commercial real estate market goes into a dive, he's already got his money out of it.
No, it's really not going into a dive, though. You'd be shocked, Joe. It's not really diving.
Is that right?
No.
That's interesting. Yeah, because you thought it would.
Yet, anyways. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But
we know what happens. It's a circle of life. These businesses leave and new businesses come in. I mean, these places ultimately get filled.
One door open, one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
The economy in Boston is driven by education and medicine, and technology. So those are 3 kind of bulletproof things right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so just leave. I got to leave with one thing. Doc Emmerich, I couldn't convince Timmy last night that Doc Emmerich is the best play-by-play announcer. So, Joe, you decided for Timmy and I. Is Doc Emmerich the best?
Or
He's
Keith
the
Jackson.
best.
I said
Who?
Keith. I said Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson's good, but I like Doc Emmerich. He's as good as any that's ever been in any sport.
I just can't get Peter the Puck out of my mind when I think of Doc.
Why, Doc Emmerich was part of Peter? No, he wasn't.
Oh. He used to do the national television games when they had Peter the Puck.
He did? Wow.
Yeah.
NBC. Yeah,
just-
but back way back when
So
they
when I
I
had
remember
that.
Peter the Puck was NBC, right?
I equate Peter the Puck and Doc Emery in my head for some reason. They don't go together
I like Peter the Puck.
because you never watch hockey.
I watch. Oh my God! My first love was hockey.
It was such an annoyance.
I can name Bob. I can name every that 72 team. I can name every player on it.
Tell you how many points they each had.
I love that team. All right, boys, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes, of course, Corbin. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com. And, of course, I want to thank JP's first son, Tim Hoey, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, Russ Stevens. He's in Washington, D.C. and couldn't be with us tonight. Again, tune in next Wednesday night for another show of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.